Right now at 5, Newton County first responders are alerted to a report of a train striking a car.
And it's going to be another hot day across the area. Temperatures increasing as we get closer to the 4th of July. Well, look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, Southeast Kansas Humane Society holds a microchipping event to raise awareness about keeping an eye on your pet.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowe.
I'm Chris Warner. Of course, we're live here on KOAM and always streaming on KOAM Plus, so you can catch us there as well. And welcome. It's Monday. It's July the 1st.
It is first day of July. I feel like it's just really
here we are,
came,
7th month of the year already.
Right.
Just a few days from the 4th of July. And of course, it wouldn't be the 4th of July without some heat.
No.
Without some rain chances out there as well. I mean, that's just kind of the way things go. So, okay, what's going on here? I'm trying to get this ready for you guys, and it's just not, there it goes.
It's a Monday.
Boy, I take a couple days off, and the weather computers already hate me for it, apparently, because
so welcome back,
working.
Chris.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, we're ready to go. Let's start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker, because at least for some of us, we do have some rain showers out there. No thunderstorms, nothing severe, nothing like that going on across the area, but up in our far northern counties, so Burlington, Garnett, getting some rain showers out there, some lightning strikes north of Emporia. We got a few showers back through Greenwood County to the west of Yates Center. That's really about it right now, and a few more showers and storms out to our west, but all of this should just kind of skirt our northern counties as we go through the morning and into the afternoon. We also have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings, so heat advisories for the bulk of southeast Kansas through 8 o'clock tomorrow, and then the excessive heat warnings and heat advisories in northeast Oklahoma run until 9 this evening, but of course they could be reissued for tomorrow as well, because we're talking heat index values 100, 105, potentially even higher over the next couple of days. So by noon, again, just a few of those showers and storms skirting our far northern counties out there. Otherwise, we're going to start to clear out a bit. But as we head into the evening, late afternoon, early evening, we could see some additional pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there. Not anticipating anything severe at this point, or really anything strong, but a couple of pop-up storms possible. Not a bad start to the morning. We've got some couple of upper 60s out there. The rest of us low to mid 70s for the most part. And as we go through the rest of today, again, we'll have some of those storms in our far northern counties through the morning. Otherwise, we're partly cloudy, quite warm, and we got those pop-up storm chances. And once we start to lose the heating of the day, we'll lose those pop-up storm chances 6, 7 o'clock out there. Highs today, again, don't let the high temperatures fool you. We're back at that point where humidity levels, dew point levels are higher. So even though we're looking at highs topping out upper 80s, low 90s, we're still going to be dealing with heat index values 100, 105, maybe a little higher for some of you out there as well. Also going to be a bit breezy. Southwest winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. We are going to stay breezy as we head into our Tuesday. We've got thunderstorm chances increasing, unfortunately, just in time for the 4th. We'll break down details on all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, first responders rush a person to the hospital after an explosion takes place in McDonald County. The incident took place around 10:30 Saturday morning, and McDonald County's deputies responded to a residence where possible suicidal subject was claimed to be. Deputies spoke with the individual in an attempt to have them exit the house when what has been described as a large explosion took place. First responders were able to gain access and remove the victim from the building. The victim was transported via helicopter to a hospital, and McDonald County deputy was also treated at the hospital. He has since been discharged. Joplin police officers have arrested a man after engaging in a foot chase Saturday evening. Officers were at Ewart Park performing a pedestrian check when the man fled on foot. The man then stole a bicycle from a female and began riding away. The subject eventually made his way south on New Hampshire Street before an officer caught up and detained him. The man had numerous warrants and could face additional charges. The woman whose bike he stole was located and given her bike back. Well, Newton County first responders are alerted to a report of a train striking a car. The incident occurred around 9:20 p.m. Saturday night near Tipton Ford access off of Old Highway 71. Missouri state troopers say the car was struck on the tracks after the driver mistook it for a road. The occupants of the vehicle did exit the car before the train slammed into it. No injuries have been reported. Well, Fort Scott residents on Broadway Avenue between 5th and 6th is closed until further notice. The city citing this closure is because of a developing sinkhole. City crews are currently securing the area and all traffic is being diverted. Motorists are advised to seek alternate routes. Residents living within the block will still have access to their homes. You are advised to make your entry via 6th Street. The Fort Scott city manager released a statement saying, quote, "We will continue to update citizens on our findings. Thank you and sorry for the inconvenience in advance," end quote. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, June is National Microchip Month, and the SEK Humane Society is working to raise awareness on the importance of being able to identify your furry friends. The shelter hosted a low-cost pet microchip clinic to help get as many animals chipped as possible. The event was open to both cats and dogs, and organizers say microchips are important for animals as 1 out of every 3 pets will go missing during its lifetime.
It's a great way to keep track of your animal, so in case they ever get out, it's a way so you can get them back. So instead of just looking around, if somebody ever picks them up, they can scan it and they'll be able to get back to you at a faster manner.
Animal advocates say it's especially important to have a way for your pet to be identified ahead of the 4th of July. More pets run away during the holiday than any other time of year. Well, when summer hits, there's a few places as popular as a ball field. Well, Saturday in Carthage, players of all ages came out to play a competitive game of beep baseball. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on this sport and how a special field makes it possible.
This rhythmic beeping is one of the only ways players on the field know a ball is headed their way. The Sirens are an all-woman beep baseball team, also known as Beep Ball Team. The sport is an adaptive version of baseball for those who are blind or visually impaired.
I feel very excited because it gives me an opportunity to actually be on the field and play a fair game with my teammates, being all women.
Cassandra McDaniel was inspired to start the team with her sister in hopes of getting more women on the field.
We did notice when we looked around at all of the different teams that we played, there were a lot of women that were sitting the bench. So she made the comment to me, "Hey, do you think that we could start an all-female team?" And I said, "Why not?"
This beep ball game is the first one being held at the Adaptive Sports Field for the Blind in Carthage, developed by the MLV Foundation. The foundation's president says it's something she has always wanted to do.
It's important for anybody with disabilities to feel like they can be normal like everybody else. And we can still do the things that everybody else does. We just have to adapt and make them a little bit different.
In beep ball, the ball beeps to tell players where it is, and bases buzz to let batters know where to run. And because blindness is on a spectrum, players all wear eye coverings to make it an even playing field.
You just have some adaptations to them and you can play and they feel just like they're normal like everybody else.
And for players, they say the opportunity to hit the field with others like them is meaningful.
For me, it feels empowering because I get to learn and see how other people do what I do, and it's important that we all help nourish and teach each other to do new things.
Reporting in Carthage, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Organizers plan to continue holding other sporting and recreation activities at the sports field, including beep kickball and blind archery. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pittsburgh State soccer team hosted their first Elite ID soccer camp. Plus, the Hungarian capital holds its annual Hare Krishna festival. And we have a hot and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Pittsburgh State soccer continues to develop as a program in their first year of existence. This weekend, the team hosted their Elite ID soccer camp. Sunday afternoon inside the Plaster Center, 73 girls from ages 8th grade to junior college competed in the camp. The event had so much interest, they had to close their registration. Each player got evaluations from coaches and Pitt State soccer players. The camp gives the opportunities for players who want to display their talents in front of a college coaching staff.
So this is our first ID camp as Pitt State, so we wanted to get kids that are anywhere from 8th grade to there's some JUCO players here just to get them on campus so we can evaluate them. We also coach them to try to help them develop as players too. So it's kind of get those and then the last one so they can compete. Sometimes in soccer, there's a lot of recruiting all over the country. So I was in Seattle and Los Angeles area the last week. So this kind of helps bring it together because now our eyes are both on the same kids doing the same at the same time. So that's super helpful. Awesome.
Joplin Outlaws wrap up their final game of the series against Fort Smith. Saturday night's game was postponed due to weather, so the teams will make it up by playing a doubleheader yesterday. Outlaws looking to avoid losing their first home series of the season, taking on Fort Smith. We'll pick things up in the 5th inning. And the Marshals leading 3-1. Matthew Schilling grounds out, but a run scores. Fort Smith leads 4-1. That's where things get really interesting. Andre Jackson pops up to right field. It's going to be a tough play, and the outfielder makes the catch at the wall. Josh Munoz tries to tag up and is out at third base. Manager Brian Daly is not pleased with the call. He gets ejected from the game. A lot of fans upset as well, but we continue to play on. Later in the inning, 2 on and 2 out for Matthew Persinger. He gets a bullet into right field, and that's a base hit. A pair of runs scored. Joplin is only down by 1 run. Now it's a 4-3 game. So we're going to go to the 6th inning. Game tied 4-4. Owen Bond comes up in a big spot. He hits that ball through the infield. Munoz scores the go-ahead run, and Joplin takes their first lead of the game. The Outlaws are ahead 5-4. Top of the 7th, local kid from CJ, Lucas Van Landuit, gets the game-winning strikeout and a wild finish. Outlaws take game 1 as they beat Fort Smith 5-4. In game 2 of the doubleheader, the Marshals get their revenge. Fort Smith wins this game 3-2. Joplin gets the day off today, but they'll return to Joe Becker Stadium tomorrow afternoon. In Major League Baseball, Cleveland at Kansas City. Royals lead 1-0 in the 2nd inning. Garrett Hampson doubles down the line. That ball stays fair. Kansas City starts off with a 2-0 lead. Royals keep their lead into the 5th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. rips this one fair. This speed ends up rounding the bases and goes in for an RBI triple. Royals lead 3-0. The offense starts to heat up the outdoor conditions. Next batter to the plate, Vinny Pasquantino brings Bobby home with a sharp single. Kansas City extends their lead to 4-0. So we're going to go to the 7th inning. Salvador Perez is going to hammer one to the bullpen, and it leaves the yard for a 2-run homer. Kansas City gets a much-needed win. Royals beat Cleveland 6-2. Cardinals versus Reds on Sunday. Lance Lynn takes the mound for St. Louis, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts in the 2nd inning. Then he gets another swing and a miss in the 3rd. One of those counts for his 1,000th career strikeout. He pitches 6 scoreless innings. No score in the 5th. Alec Burleson hits an RBI single past the infield. That scores the first run of the game, and St. Louis is ahead 1-0. So we go to the 6th inning. Mason Wynn goes down to get it. He puts the ball in play for an RBI single. Only 2 runs scored for the Cardinals in this game, and that's all they needed. St. Louis gets the job done 2-0. Cardinals split the 4-game series. Well, still to come, we're going to see why the CDC says a summer wave of COVID-19 has arrived. Plus, got another check of that hot and potentially stormy forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:20 on this Monday morning, first day of July, and we're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker because in our far northern counties, we do have some shower activity. So Garnett, Burlington getting in on some of that shower activity, a couple isolated showers now stretching out just west of Yates Center, east of Eureka there on 54. All of this should just continue to slide east and just kind of skirt our northern counties. These isolated showers aren't expected to last too long, and anything out to the west is going to kind of die out, with the best opportunities in our far northern counties for rain through the morning hours. So the future track in agreement with this, showing just a couple of stray showers, thunderstorm in Bates County by noon. Outside of that, the rest of us are dry, warm, breezy, and partly cloudy out there. Then as we head into the late evening, we're back into that pop-up storm kind of situation. So we could see some isolated pop-up showers and storms, say between about 4 and 7, and then those will begin to die out once we lose the heating of the day. Clouds will begin to clear out overnight as well. We'll be mostly clear to just plain old clear as we head into our Tuesday. Tuesday, though, going to be hot. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be breezy. And as I just mentioned, it's going to be hot. Take a look at some of these temperatures by the evening hours into the upper 90s across the area as a possibility for sure. And we'll have a gusty south wind pushing upwards of 25 miles an hour. That wind won't do much for us, but it will be breezy, so be aware of that. And remember, one thing that sometimes folks forget, once we get into the summer, we don't hit our peak heating until about between 4 and 6. So yeah, it's going to be hot at noon, 1, 2 o'clock for sure, but we hit our peak heating later in the day right before the sun sets. Then as we go into Wednesday, we start to see some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances out there. So again, as you can see, we go through the morning on Wednesday. Not everybody is going to get rain, but we are going to have scattered showers and storms along a boundary out there. And some of those could ultimately be strong to low-grade severe, and we'll get a brief break late evening and we'll see more development as we head into our Thursday. So today, again, just scattered thunderstorms, of pop-up storm chances out there. Tomorrow we have a low risk for some strong to low-grade severe storms into our northern counties, and then by Wednesday that kind of overspreads the rest of the area. This is more for what we're expecting overnight tomorrow into Wednesday. So you have to remember how the Storm Prediction Center works their days. It's a little chaotic, but it'll be really more overnight, not during the day tomorrow. Our UV index, slight improvement, 9, so burn time's 15 minutes for unprotected skin. Just a heads up for tomorrow, our UV index expected to jump to 11. Heat advisories through 8 o'clock tomorrow for most of southeast Kansas, and then heat advisories and excessive heat warnings into Oklahoma through 9 o'clock this evening out there. Our heat risk today, again, minor to moderate out there, but as we go into Tuesday and into the 4th of July holiday, we get more of that moderate and major and even a few splotches of extreme, so do keep that in mind. Quick look at temperatures, a bit cloudy in Joplin, 72, east breeze at 8. Around the area, our temperatures not too bad. Down south a little warmer, some mid-70s out there. The rest of us low 70s as we get the day underway. We get our morning started. Again, some isolated storms in our far northern counties. Otherwise, partly cloudy, low 80s by 11 o'clock. And that is ahead of highs today, upper 80s, low 90s. Our heat index values for some 100 to 105 out there. Heat index values exceeding that possibly tomorrow as we go into the upper 90s. Upper 90s Wednesday, scattered storms. We'll see more thunderstorm chances, unfortunately, on the 4th. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe some thunderstorm chances next Sunday. Temperatures remaining hot. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. A summer COVID-19 surge is here. In 4 weeks, cases have been rising in at least 38 states, particularly in the West and South. According to data from the CDC, hospitalizations and deaths are also ticking up. Over the past few months, the variant that drove the winter surge has been overtaken by new offshoots. CDC says 2 of these new variants now account for more than half of the infections in the U.S. Meanwhile, a new COVID-19 vaccine could be coming this fall based on these latest strains. The CDC recommends everyone 6 months and older should get an updated vaccine for the 2024-2025 season. Well, it's a critical part of overall health, and proper hydration helps the body function normally. But in the summer heat, it can be hard to know how to best replenish what's lost in sweat. Mandy Gaither explains when to pick water and when to consider an electrolyte drink to keep you hydrated.
It's long been said to drink 8 glasses of water a day, but when it comes to hydration, one size doesn't fit all.
I always explain to patients that if you have a cup of coffee and a cup of water, those cancel each other out.
Dr. Matthew Anastasi with Mayo Clinic says an average person may need about 4 to 6 glasses of plain water a day for an average lifestyle. However, active people may need more, and as they sweat, may also need to turn to drinks that have electrolytes.
The more electrolytes you have in your body, the more water you can help to hold on to, and therefore it keeps you well hydrated.
Anastasi says the problem is that many electrolyte drinks also have things you don't want excessively in your body. That's why he says to check drink labels.
You may be taking in way too many calories, right? Way too much sugar, and you also may be well above your recommended dietary consumption of those substances that I mentioned. So I think, as with anything, it's a balancing act.
Anastasi says choosing whether to drink plain water or grab an electrolyte drink should depend on your level of activity. For regular, low-impact, less intense exercise, he says plain water is sufficient.
But if you're going on anything more than 30 minutes in duration, or anything that's going to be very intense, I do think you would benefit from hydrational support.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says it's also important not to only hydrate after an activity, but before and during the activity as well. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a pretty toasty day out there. Heat increasing as we get closer to the 4th. Rain chances possibly increasing as well. We'll have another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, one local church hosted its God and Country celebrations to help join in on the 4th of July spirit.
And we've got some clouds out there, a few showers as well. We're going to be hot and partly cloudy otherwise. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, community members come together to celebrate Neosho at the Celebrate Neosho Festival. Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:32. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. Of course, we're live here on KOAM and streaming live on KOAM Plus. So wherever you're at, you can always find us.
Absolutely.
For example,
yes.
like we went to Kansas City this weekend.
Yes,
if I wanted to watch KOAM.
We didn't even know.
What in the world? And the thing, we ran into somebody we knew from Joplin from a
how
long
about
time
that?
ago. And like, what are the odds? Almost 500,000 people. And we ran into this friend of ours. I went to college with her, but she's the daughter of my wife's principal, former principal from Carthage.
Such a
small world. And then we
right.
meet her there, yeah, what are the odds? But you can catch us anywhere, anytime, and stay up to date on what's happening here in the 4 states. And you'll want to stay up to date on rain chances as we got the 4th of July holiday approaching, and it looks so we could see some thunderstorms here and there. So let's start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker and what we're seeing right now. Not much out there in our area. It's kind of confined again to our northern counties. So Burlington, Garnett, you've been dealing with these slow-moving showers up here since early this morning. We've had isolated showers here and there near Yates Center, east of Eureka, but these are dying out, and most of this activity is going to be concentrated into our northern counties. Yeah, it's just kind of gliding east, and it will continue to do so slowly. The majority of us through this morning and into the early afternoon are going to be dry. dry, but our very far northern counties through the early afternoon will be dealing with a few isolated showers here and there. Heat advisories, bulk of southeast Kansas through 8 o'clock tomorrow. And then we have excessive heat warnings and heat advisories in Oklahoma through 9 o'clock this evening. But again, these could be reissued as we head into tomorrow as well. Just because we're looking at heat index values today, 100 to 105. Tomorrow and into Wednesday, they could be 105 to 110. Future track at noon showing again those showers just kind of skirting the far northern counties. As we head into the evening, though, could see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms for a few of us. The majority of us will be dry, but between about 4 and 7, we could see a couple of isolated pop-up storms out there. Nothing crazy expected with that activity. Up to the north, again, we're dealing with some clouds too from that activity, so a little cooler, low 70s, but down to the southwest where there's not really much in terms of cloud cover at all, it's warmer, mid 70s, getting close to that upper 70s range out there as well. Going through today, again, our northern counties, maybe a storm or two. The rest of us partly cloudy. Highs, again, they are deceiving. Upper 80s, low 90s, but with higher humidity and dew point values, puts those heat index values up there. And then we'll have those pop-up storm chances for some of us between, again, about, let's say, 3 and 7 o'clock this evening. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about the other rain chances we have and the hotter temperatures on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, 4th of July celebrations are underway across the 4 states. The Free Will Baptist Church of Carthage hosted its God and Country celebration Sunday to help join in on the holiday spirit. The event featured activities for the whole family, including a barbecue and inflatables. Attendees also had the opportunity to listen to live music from Borderline Bluegrass.
It feels great. This is something that we've looked forward to doing, and it just kind of all came together and fell in place. So it's encouraging to us. We have a lot of fun doing these type of events.
Organizers say they hope to continue holding events similar to the God and Country celebration in the future. Well, it was a very hot day in Neosho Saturday as residents celebrated the city. The Celebrate Neosho Festival hosted a wide variety of events and attractions, from a cornhole tournament to a watermelon seed spitting contest. Residents could also cool off by using the on-water slides.
We just have a square full of fun and excitement for everyone to join in on. It's really exciting just seeing them run and play, and just taking part in all of the things that we've been able to bring out here today is really exciting for everyone.
The festivities ended with a fireworks show at 10 p.m. Well, Lego and relax, because Joplin Public Library hosted a Lego Build-a-thon. The Build-a-thon is open for kids ages 6 through 12 and is free and open to the public. The library also had books on Legos for kids to use to inspire their creativity.
I like the Legos. They're really fun. I like building them.
So kids come, they grab some Legos, and they just build whatever they want. It's a good opportunity for kids to make friends and to just kind of explore building activities.
The activities were available between 1 and 2 p.m. on Saturday. The Country Closet in Carl Junction hosted a Red, White, and Blue Bash Saturday. The event included free hot dogs and desserts and discounts all across the store. Military members and veterans could also get a 10% discount on any item in the store.
I think it's important to support your small businesses and help keep money in your community, and just having a fun time with your friends or neighbors. Come in and shop and have a good time.
Well, people could also participate in a flower crown making class for just $10. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Dozens of people are rescued after floods and landslides hit regions in northern Italy this weekend. Plus, former Israeli hostage speaks out for the first time since she was rescued from Hamas captivity. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. The Hungarian capital holds its first Hare Krishna festival. Hundreds of devotees of the Hare Krishna Hindu movement came to celebrate the Chariot Festival Saturday. They sang and danced alongside the colorful hand-drawn carriage as it made its way through the city streets. The festival also featured traditional Indian music and dance, stage shows, workshops, jam sessions, and henna paintings, among other activities. The Festival of the Chariot is one of the most ancient festivals originating in India. Well, dozens of people are rescued after thunderstorms, floods, and landslides hit regions in northern Italy this weekend. Firefighters say they carried out around 80 rescue operations. 2 adults and a 3-month-old baby were rescued after they were stuck in their car due to rising waters from a river. Villages were isolated due to the severe weather. Storms in nearby Switzerland were also seen this weekend. Police say they caused a landslide, which left 2 people dead and 1 missing. Former Israeli hostage Noah Argmani speaks out for the first time since she was rescued from Hamas captivity. In a video address, she said that her biggest worries during those horrendous 246 days was her parents. She went on to remind the world not to forget that hostages are remaining in Gaza. Trey Yingst has more, from Tel Aviv.
Nearly 270 days into the war, one former hostage who was rescued earlier this month in a daring operation is speaking out. Noah Argamani was taken captive by Hamas from the Nova Festival on Black Saturday, October 7th. She was held in a civilian home until Israeli special forces were able to save her in a joint operation that led to the rescue of 3 other hostages. In her first public address since that day, Noah is calling for the release of her boyfriend and the other 120 people being held inside Gaza.
Although I'm home now, we cannot forget about the hostages who are still in Hamas captivity, and we must do everything possible to bring them back home.
This statement comes as Israel continues to operate inside Gaza. Fierce battles are unfolding in southern Gaza and also once again in the suburbs of Gaza City. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with the country's cabinet and said this today.
As for the sacred task of freeing our hostages, there is no change in Israel's position regarding the release outline that President Biden welcomed. And today, everyone knows the simple truth. Hamas is the only obstacle to freeing our hostages.
Inside Gaza, Palestinians held funerals today for civilians that were killed in the Israeli bombardment of Rafah. Dozens of people were killed and injured in recent days by the Israeli air campaign as the casualty numbers inside the Strip continue to rise. As we follow new developments out of Gaza, all eyes remain on northern Israel. Amid new attacks from Hezbollah, there are major concerns in the region about a broader war erupting between the Iran-backed group and Israel.
And that's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:46 now on this Monday morning. We're starting the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Most of us dry, but again, we still have some of these showers up around Garnett, Burlington out there, and they are going to remain confined to our far northern counties as we head through the morning. We've just got this cluster. We got heavier rains getting closer to Topeka, Lawrence, rolling into Kansas City later today, but the rest of us just going to get this. However, some pop-up storms are possible as we head into the afternoon as well. So there's those storms again, just skirting our northern counties by noon as we head through the rest of the day between, say, again, 3 and 7, maybe 8 at the latest. Once we get that peak daytime heating, could start to see a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there for some of us. Most of us will remain dry and hot, but again, a couple of showers out there will be possible. Otherwise, again, partly cloudy, breezy as well. Southwesterly breezes, gusting upwards of 20. Tomorrow, those gusts increase out of the south to 25. As we head into tomorrow, take a look at these temperatures at 5 a.m. Already for many of us, mid-upper 70s to start the day, which is ahead of a very hot day as we start to crawl into the low, mid, and even upper 90s out there. It will otherwise be sunny. Tomorrow's the sunniest, hottest day we've got this week. Also, or to the breeziest. Again, those south winds gusting upwards of around 25 miles an hour. Then as we head overnight and into Wednesday morning, that's when we start to see some shower and thunderstorm chances out there. So Wednesday, we got scattered storms across the area. Not everyone will see rain on Wednesday, but a good number of us will. Right now, a lot of it is confined, and even look at the cloud cover right along and north of I-44 for most of the day. As we head later into the evening, though, we'll start to see a few more thunderstorms along this boundary, which this boundary, as you can see, is also parked almost right along I-44 as well. And we do have that possibility of a couple of strong storms out there too. Then as we go into the 4th of July, we're looking at more scattered storm chances out there. So don't necessarily cancel your 4th of July plans, but do keep an eye to the sky. For today, again, some isolated thunderstorm chances, again, mainly with those pop-up storm opportunities. We have a low risk tomorrow, and again, this is really for overnight. Because again, tomorrow, most of the day, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be hot, it's going to be breezy. We have that low end risk, and then Wednesday, it translates a little further south with that boundary across the area. Our UV index today is a 9, which puts it at very high. Burn time is 15 minutes for unprotected skin. So again, make sure you're taking precautions out there. Tomorrow's UV index at this point expected to be an 11, which is back to the extreme. So be aware of that. Heat advisories, bulk of southeast Kansas through 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, and then excessive heat warnings and heat advisories into Oklahoma through 9 o'clock this evening. Our heat risk potential for today is showing minor to moderate, so the greatest potential for those higher heat index values, again, right where those advisories are out to the west. And then by Tuesday, you can see major overspreads a lot of the area. By Wednesday, more major, moderate, and even some patchy extreme out there as well. Got some clouds out there from that activity to the north in Joplin. 72, east breeze at 8. It will begin to pick up. Temperatures around the area up north, again, where there's those clouds and even some showers. We got low 70s further to the south and west. We're into the mid 70s as we get the day started. Isolated storms in our northern counties, otherwise partly cloudy, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Ahead of highs today, upper 80s, low 90s. But again, those are deceiving as those heat index values climb 105 out there possible, maybe even higher as we head into tomorrow. 110 degree heat index values possible. Thunderstorms again Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe again on Sunday, and staying hot. That is a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, it used to be the stuff of science fiction, but the largest mall in the U.S. is using advanced facial recognition technology to bolster its security. Gordon Severson shows us how it works.
About 40 million people visit the Mall of America every year.
Safety and security is our absolute #1 priority.
Keeping certain people out of the mall has always been a challenge. Until now.
All of you got scanned when you came in.
Wednesday morning, the mall's new facial recognition system went live.
Yeah, so we saw the signs about the new facial recognition software that they're using.
Jesse Thompson says he tries to visit the mall at least once a year. He doesn't mind the new system as long as it's used appropriately.
I don't know that a lot of people are going to like it. It'll be cool to see it in action and see if it really makes a difference.
Security officials say the system does not record or save personal information about shoppers.
The only people that we care about are persons of interest.
Those persons of interest include people who are banned from the mall, people who have been identified by law enforcement as a potential threat, and anyone who is missing or in danger and needs help.
And those photographs are uploaded into the system, and then those photographs are scanned against people walking in.
And all it's doing is it's matching people against that database.
Ravi Bapna was a consultant on the project. He's a business analytics and information professor at the University of Minnesota.
When I looked at and evaluated the algorithm, we are looking at a false positive rate of 1 in a million.
Meaning 1 out of a million shoppers may be mistaken for one of the mall's persons of interest.
We're not going to rely on the technology alone. That would be foolish, right? If we get a prompt, there's up to a 3-layer human verification to make sure that we have the right person.
The Mall of America says the software system issues an alert if there's a match, and the security team then conducts an investigation using multiple methods of identification. We'll be right back. Well, new market test results show that McDonald's fans are not McLoving the brand's plant-based burger. McDonald's USA president Joe Erlinger spoke at the Wall Street Journal Food Forum. He asked his team to test the McPlant burger in Dallas and San Francisco, and testing began in February 2022 and involved about 600 locations in all. Erlinger says the McPlant burger didn't do well in those markets, and he adds the chain also doesn't plan on bringing back salads to its menu because the demand isn't there. Well, ketchup red is this summer's hottest trend thanks to Kate Spade's latest condiment couture line. Heinz and Kate Spade teamed up to create bags and clothing inspired by Heinz ketchup. The collection offers tote bags and pouches that resemble ketchup packets, as well as t-shirts, slides, keychains, and phone cases that model the iconic Heinz logo. Fans of both Kate Spade and Heinz can buy collection items at select stores and online. Prices range from $45 all the way up to $400.
And we've got some showers in our far northern counties, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. Most of us will be dry through the morning and partly cloudy. We'll go a low 80s by 11 o'clock. Then as we head into the afternoon, for some of us, we could see a couple of pop-up showers or storms out there as we go later into the afternoon and into the early evening hours. Highs upper 80s, low 90s, but heat index values are going to be in that 100 to 105 degree range for most of us. We'll also have a southwest wind gusting occasionally upwards of 20 miles an hour. Skies will begin to clear as we head through the evening and overnight, falling back very mild into the mid, maybe even upper 70s across the area. Tomorrow is just straight up hot. Sunny, winds gusting to 25 out of the south, upper 90s, heat index values 105, maybe close to 110. Scattered storms Wednesday and Thursday for the 4th. So again, do not necessarily cancel your plans for the 4th, but just have some alternates in mind. We'll stay hot heading into the weekend, maybe some scattered storms Sunday and Tuesday. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.